find myself less as a shark and more probably as a dolphin, really, to be able to try and support other founders and be that person who founders see and feel more encouraged and more enthused.
Hello and welcome everybody. This is Sukarna. Welcome to ETimes TV. Today we have Ritesh Agarwal with us. Hi Ritesh, Happy New Year. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much, Sukarna. Very happy New Year to you as well. Of course, New Year is the time of people to go out on a holiday. So I think, it's great time for us.
And congratulations on embracing a brand new role, fatherhood. How is that going?
I think it's still early days. I'm trying to be better in my diaper duties, and of course, I think the sleep is quite volatile, as you can imagine, with the early days. But it's so special. I think just seeing your child change every day because he becomes slightly different every week. So I think
if you see,
so for me, I think still early, but I think this year is a year with all new roles, right? I think there's fatherhood, and now there's the Shark Tank season 3. So I have to try and do well in quite a few new things. So I'm looking forward to it.
And you were introduced as one of the first new sharks to join the panel, and also the youngest shark. How was the experience for you?
So I think first off, when I first for this season started discussing with the Shark Tank team, I think there were two things that were happening. The first is, I think, of course, Shark Tank had become synonymous with entrepreneurship in India in terms of context. So it just became so special in the perspective that in family dining rooms, people started discussing about startups. When I meet people in various cities, they used to say, देखिए हमारे यहाँ पे भी startups बहुत बढ़ रही हैं, जैसे आपने Shark Tank में देखा होगा. So I think that is one fascinating transformation that Shark Tank has naturally brought. I think the second thing that is also unique is in the perspective of I personally grew up in a small town, right? Like I grew up in Raigada, which is in the Odisha-Andhra Pradesh border. And every time when I think about other founders, I feel like when I started, there was nothing like Shark Tank. So you had to learn everything yourself. But there were some other founders who were willing to help me. So I kept thinking that how can I help other founders coming from the next Raigada, next Gaya, next, and other small towns across the country. And I think Shark Tank just provided me a unique opportunity to be able to meet and support founders from so many different places. I think the experience has been fascinating because, you meet entrepreneurs and founders from every different part of the country. Everybody has a unique story to tell. Everybody has a unique problem they're solving. Everybody challenges you to think about a business in a way that you would have never thought about. And all of their stories are of perseverance and success because at least maybe a few people, even in the show, some of them showed me that they had reached out to me earlier or they tried to connect with me earlier. And they said they are just so happy that we are able to chat with each other in the tank. And I said, look, you clearly have done well to be here. And, I just hope you take my deal at the end of the investment. So I think, long story short, I think it's been a fantastic experience so far. New, but fantastic.
I mean, being a business entrepreneur and being a part of reality show is there have been 2 seasons, and the other sharks have also spoken about how it was entirely a new journey for them, being in front of camera, talking to so many people. How was that experience for you?
Look, I think first off, I think it was a very new experience because the first time I reached there was a vanity van I think, in our world, there is no relationship with the vanity van. I think there was sport, there was being able to look at the camera, and of course, I think it's also the format itself is quite unique, right? That first time I see the founder is when, the same time when people are seeing the door open, and the founder pitches, and you can ask some questions, and then and there you have to make the decision of investment. So it is both intellectually as well as commercially like a very unique concept. So it was definitely very new. But I think I will tell you, um, in all of this, I think I always thought that in my heart, I asked myself, what is success for me after Shark Tank season 3? And I always thought that if every house, sort of says that, well, one of us will become an entrepreneur. So sort of like a har ghar entrepreneur. If I am able to contribute in a small way in that, it will be fine. So I think everything else, I tried to make see the interesting side of it, but I always kept my mind on saying, how can I help these entrepreneurs so that they do well and they can inspire other people to become founders?
I have to ask this. Shark Tank is still like it's business related. It's still a reality show, and many people say कि कितना real है ये reality show. So, like while you were shooting, were there any inhibitions in your mind, what to say or how to talk to the pitchers who come with their business plan? Tell us about that experience.
So I think that's a great question. First off, I must say that I have been in the tank, and it is totally real, and there is nothing that is told about here is how you should do something, which is, I think for me quite fascinating, because the amount of effort they put in, that the founder and the shark should not be even like in 500 meters with each other before the pitch starts is unbelievable. Like there are different ways of entering, different places they go in. There are guards that try to make sure that one doesn't go to the other side and the other. I think it's just incredible. So I think there's a great sense of authenticity that I took away. When the pitch starts, the founders are so passionate, and they are staring at the sharks and very passionate, with very passionate lens, that it's almost very hard to sort of have a lot of inhibition. I will say though that the first 2-3 days I was probably still just figuring out being in the set, but I think over time it got better. I must of course compliment my other sharks who played a role in it, because they give me the conviction in saying that you should get at it. Of course, I remember one of the earliest days, Amit came by the side and said, you should have a discussion as if you're discussing with a founder at your office, and it will make life much easier for you. And I think and of course I think all the other sharks followed. So I think for me, when I was listening to the founder, I had only one task. That is, how can I wholeheartedly try and make sure that I can support the founder, I can make sure that they can make their dreams successful, and with their dreams being successful, how can I see my own dreams with them?
And while hearing their stories, did it remind you of your challenging days when you were trying to make it in the business world as an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. Everybody's story had something or the other related to, which I could relate with, right? Somebody was a young entrepreneur who others did not take very seriously. Somebody was an entrepreneur from a small town who was still learning what this online world is all about. There was somebody who thought that they had just failed but did not want to give up very easily. They wanted to keep going at it. So I kept sort of in absolutely every story, I found something or the other which reminded me of my own journey. And what I also found is that each one of them was probably a better version of me than I was in the same time. So I think they'll all be quite successful in the future, I'm sure.
Also, Shark Tank is a show which is like you said in your previous answer, okay, it's discussed in every household, like a Saas Bahu serial. And it's also discussed on social media widely. Like each episode is scrutinized, all the sharks are discussed. And like, so my question is like, did you have any thoughts in mind, okay, I have to portray this image online so that I don't face the brickbats on social media?
So I think first off, you should know that I from my perspective, I think I was just so focused in making sure that we could help the founder. I also the tank is so intense that my focus was just making sure that I help the founder be myself as much as possible, and I sort of personally think like find myself less as a shark and more probably as a dolphin, really, to be able to try and support other founders and be that person who founders see and feel more encouraged and more enthused. Rather, I think naturally it's very highly followed, so there will be social media discussions about it, and I of course look forward to it. But I think at the same time, given the last years of me building Oyo, I have seen both a lot of love and sometimes criticism too, and I have learned that you learn from it and become a better version of yourself in times to come. Also, I think I always see that in always some challenges there is opportunity. So, for example, one of the situations, for example, one of the situations where I saw that there were founders who were just getting started, and I speak of course reasonably okay Hindi. So for example, instead of investment, I would say मैं आपकी कंपनी में निवेश करना चाहता हूँ. So I think that became quite a topic of discussion, saying Ritesh ka nivesh and so on. So then I thought that's a great idea. So I actually made a website of riteshknivesh.com, where I said that if you're a founder and you want to get support, you could come here, and I would, on the other hand, market the companies that I support. So I think there were lots of these little stories which became a part of the show, where I tried to be myself and tried to help founders. Like I always kept thinking that how can I find a way to help the founders, and that sort of has kept me quite enthused.
I mean, in your entrepreneurial journey, I'm sure you must have faced like many challenges while trying to build your company and name. What was that one challenge which you remember, like, which made you break your decision that yes, I have made it here, now I can go forward?
That's a great question, Sukarna. I'll tell you. For me, I was starting Oyo, of course, very early, and I'm the youngest of 4 siblings, and the elder 3 siblings are like Indian parents' dream, right? Engineer, business school, job. Did not take money from the family for a long time after. So they used to think that why is Ritesh not becoming engineer as well, because it all sorts out, and I was becoming a founder, and I think my parents were naturally quite concerned about it. But when I told Papa that I really want to be a founder and an entrepreneur, so he told me, if this is what you really want to do, you should know that we don't have any resources to support you. But from my heart and support in any resources that we have, we will, like any thing that we can do to help you, will support you. And even if you fail, that's okay. But and of course, my mom was. I had to convince my mom, saying that consider this like my gap year, so that she knew that if I fail, I will still go to college. So through that, but I think when Papa said that, you can pursue it, I think I felt there was strangely this sense of saying that, uh, now if I don't make it successful, I think it will be a big opportunity that I would have lost. So I think I just had incredible amount of energy. Next morning, I woke up saying that now no matter what, I will make it happen. So no failure has ever perturbed me after that. So I think I feel like if your family supports you, it's the hardest job is to you have to convince the world. So before that, you have to convince your own family. So I think that was a very important part, I think.
And back then, if you had a platform like Shark Tank India, with whom would you want to partner with or get the investment from?
You put me on a spot with that one, but I will try, Sakarna. So I think first off, I would have really wanted to have the opportunity to first come to Shark Tank. I think today coming to Shark Tank itself is such a huge deal because founders get investment support from the various sharks, and then of course the broader community. But I have been a part of multiple all shark deals, and I know how much that can be valuable for a founder. I always like to sort of think big, because thinking big is free of cost, right? Because so if it's thinking is free, then might as well think big. So nothing less than an all shark deal will do, is what my hope would have been.
And lastly, I would like to wrap up asking you this question. You recently posted getting the invite of inauguration in the Ayodhya. Uh, share with us how does that feel? How excited are you? Are you
So
going
look,
to
I think
attend?
first off, Ayodhya is a part of growing up in India, right? We all grow up listening to Ayodhya, Sri Ramji's stories. And of course, I watched Ramayana as a child on DD, and then I watched it again during COVID. So I think it's just such a I think it's very close to everybody's hearts. On top of it, I think probably I traveled only couple of times as during my school time. As most of us in the middle income families, you don't travel a lot. But one of those travels took me to Ayodhya back in the day. So I think for me to have the opportunity to see how Ayodhya has transformed from then to having such a incredible temple of Lord Ram, Ramlala, I think is going to be a fascinating experience. It's going to be very emotional personally. Um, I also feel like in our family, it's a huge matter of discussion nowadays. So we are all preparing for lighting up our houses on 22nd, and celebrating all the days through that. Um, Also, 22nd is when Shark Tank starts airing. So I will pray to God that Ayodhya and India continues to flourish and be successful, and Indian startups continue to be successful, and of course, Shark Tank will play a big role in it. So I think I'm really looking forward to the Pran Pratishtha, and I don't think words will explain the feeling of being there. So I'm really looking forward.
Well, thank you so much for being with us on ETimes TV. It was great talking to you and looking forward to see you on Shark Tank India 3.
Thank you so much. I hope you watch and share your feedback.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.